So my name is Dejan Gakovic. I'm from UL, and I want to ask you a couple of questions because I feel like a stand-up comedian right now. And how many of you guys are familiar with UL, a company called UL? Okay, very good. So I don't have to introduce the company then. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if some hecklers will show up.
You want us to heckle? You mean more
That. Keep in mind, I'm pretty good on my words, and cameras are live, and we don't want anything recorded. Because nowadays, everything ends up on TikTok. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's almost the end of the second day, end of the summit. Thank you very much for hosting us, and to the organizers, thank you for having a fantastic event. This is our first time that we participated at OCP Global Summit. UL has joined OCP in April as a platinum sponsor, platinum member, not sponsor. And this is the second presentation at the Global Summit. I want to talk to you today about UL's Data Center Integrator Qualification program that we launched officially last Monday, 2 days ago. I don't know if you guys have seen the press release, but this program is alive as of Monday. My name is Dejan Gakovic, and I've been with UL for 17 years. I'm a business development manager for data centers and enterprise solutions within the UL, the little mark that most of you guys are familiar with. We're a different company than all of you guys because we don't make products. We certify products. So data center planning and commissioning is a very complex process, as you guys know. Data center construction cost has exceeded 10 million per megawatt. And since most of you guys are familiar with this, I don't have to explain you why. However, the most is paid upfront, and it goes for representing significant cost, and its expertise is focused on building, layout, construction, and equipment cost. Asset owners and equipment manufacturers often do not have control who is assembling their products. Equipment arrives as sub-assemblies most of the time, pre-assembled, containing racks, PDUs, servers, UPSs, or whatever else is necessary for data center operation installed in a rack. When it arrives to the data center facility, it comes with very little traceability of who, where, and how performed that integration. As you know, the rack can come in with Schneider rack, Eaton, automated transfer switch, APC, UPS, Vertiv's, PDU, whatever the IT architect specified. So this can result in a lot of damaged equipment, warranty rework, installation delays, but most importantly, it can strain the relationship between the asset owners and manufacturers on one side and their supply chain. UL DCIQ program, or Data Center Integrator Qualification program, was built and around the contractor, not the asset owner, not the equipment manufacturer. It's built around the contractor. The program is designed to reduce delays due to installation process, as well as to streamline installation and authorities having jurisdiction approval process. Our goal in creating this program is to expedite return on investment for all parties involved in the data center commissioning. That was our main goal, to expedite the return on investment of all parties. Keep in mind, some of you are not familiar with AHJs or Authority 7 jurisdiction, but without their approvals, there's no data centers. You can have a most beautiful building in the world equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment, but without that agent, that code authority, you do not have a data center. You have a brick and mortar building. Authority 7 jurisdiction's definition is specified in the National Electric Code as an organization, office, or individual responsible for enforcing the requirements of a code or standard, or for approving equipment, materials, and installation, or a procedure. This definition is specified or defined in all NFPA codes, including Code 70, Code 75, and so forth. Here are the few code requirements, for example. NFPA 75, Standard for the Protection of Information Technology Equipment, mandates that all equipment and replacement parts shall meet the requirements of ANSI UL 650 or UL 650-1. These standards are obsolete, but they're still in the code. Or UL 62368-1, audio, video, information, communication technology equipment. And it also specifies that each individual unit shall be constructed in such a way that by limiting combustible materials or by use of enclosures, fire ignition is located. Automatic protection shall be provided for all units not so constructed. But most importantly, Article 8.1.3 states listed IT equipment shall be considered as meeting the requirements of 8.1.2. Why is this very important? When equipment arrives at the final destination, pre-assembled in a rack, it is almost impossible for Authority 7 jurisdiction to verify that each component in that rack meets these requirements. How will UL qualify installers or integrators? Installation integration companies shall provide a list of designated responsible individuals who will be enrolled in DCIQ program. Installation integration companies shall provide a list of facilities, sites they would like to be included in the program. And finally, installation integration company shall provide information regarding existing ISO certification, if any. It's not mandatory, but if they do have ISO certification, they should let us know. Our program is process divided in 3 parts. First part is completion of UL designated training for DCIQ participants. This training contains NEC requirements. This contains electric, fire, and shock and bonding requirements, and completion of assessment of quality management system as a part 2, either virtual or on-site. And part 3 is a practical on-site evaluation or observation. Why do we call it observation? Because different manufacturers have different installation processes and procedures. We can't tie the program to a particular process. So we have to observe if the integrator is following what you guys, as a manufacturer, have specified how to install that product. Meaning, if torque wrenches are required for assembly of the racks, that they're following those instructions. They're using torque wrenches with appropriate torque settings. If continuity testing is required to confirm the bonding of the equipment is appropriate, that they use appropriate testing equipment. Some of the above can be done obviously concurrently. We can do the completion of design training and the virtual assessment can be done together. Or if we are on-site, we can do quality management system and practical evaluation at the exact same time. Upon the successful completion of the program, keep in mind, each installer integrator will be authorized to apply a label on the unit stating their product was assembled by UL qualified data center integrator. The label will contain integrator's actual certificate number. What does this mean? If you have a company that has 10 integrators certified, each integrator will have its own certificate number, its own label. The label will contain, again, certificate number as an added level of assurance, integrity, and traceability. This is the picture, actually, of the actual label. I'm sorry if it's not clear to read. This is a hologram label, so when you scan it, it actually brings the hologram from behind. But this is the actual label that integrators will be affixing to the assembled equipment. Certificate is valid for 3 years. However, every year, you will visit the site and perform a quality management system audit to verify that they will still comply with the program requirements. Certificate is not transferable because it's issued to an individual. If the individual leaves the company, they have to reapply with a new employer to be included in a program. If, again, individual leaves the company is required to notify UL. At that time, all the labels with that certificate number will be destroyed. After the initial 3-year period, all DRIs, integrators, will need to be requalified. What is the requalification entitles? Entitles some of the full program requirements. However, we give credit for continuous education. So if the integrator is participating in a third-party training, we'll give them credit for that. All DCIQ certificates will be published on a UL's database, on a UL's Product IQ database, and will be available for anyone to see. Once, for example, authorities having jurisdictions that is on site, they can look at this number, type it into UL database, and that certificate will pop up with individual's name. It will say John Smith, company ABC, UL qualified data center integrator. So the authorities can verify it immediately on site. And keep in mind, the code enforcers, authorities, are used to navigating UL's database to verify that each of the equipment is certified. So it's nothing new for them. Now, benefits for the facility owner and equipment manufacturer, and I assume most of you here are either manufacturer or facility owners, is that expediting ROI due to faster turnaround time. Time to market is essential for all of us. Reduced liability risk due to third-party qualified professional integrators. Faster turnaround time because of faster regulatory AAJ approvals. Faster regulatory AAJ approvals because of the DCIQ label. More thorough equipment installation due to third-party qualification process. Traceability. Everybody can verify who installed that rack, who assembled, I should say, that rack. 2 racks next to each other could be assembled by 2 separate individuals. But everybody will know that rack was assembled by John Smith. And again, no additional cost to asset owners and equipment manufacturers, because this program was not designed around a specific product, but rather designed around the contractor assembling your products. Now, benefits for installers and integrators are very similar. However, not all contracting companies will be included in this program. Only those committed to quality and to continuous improvement shall be able to complete the program. The qualification process includes, as I said, in-class or online training. Due to the pandemic, most of the time it will be online, but we will, with the times, move into the in-class training. Oral or written examinations during those training classes, an audit of the contractor's quality management system. What does that audit include? It will include record keeping, training, order process, from receiving the order to assemble the equipment or, subassembly to the final shipping. We should know how the procurement of the equipment happened. Where did it come from? But benefits for the installers and integrators may include, again, faster commissioning because of faster turnaround time. Again, time to market is everything. Reduced liability to the third-party qualified professional integrators. Company marketing. They can claim that they are UL qualified integrators. Better trained workforce. Again, due to the third-party qualification. Less rework and fatigue. Traceability. Again, each unit is labeled individually. And the UL DCIQ program demonstrates that their company has committed for excellence in initial quality of data center assets. These are some of the benefits for the installers and integrators. Call to action. As of Monday, November 8th, this program is live. We are ready for immediate fulfillment and implementation of the process. For anybody who is interested in applying for the UL DCIQ program, please email me, dejangakovic@ul.com. You can give me a call on the numbers on the screen, or you can visit our website at www.ul.com/datacenters. Now we have 10 minutes for open discussion. I'm sorry that I rushed through this, but I assume there will be some questions on the floor about the program.
So a couple of questions.
Sure. One at a time. One at a time.
You referenced NEC. Will this apply outside the U.S.?
It will apply outside the U.S. Now, the requirements for data centers are very different from country to country. We know that in North America, in the United States and Canada in particular, they're regulated. There are some markets that are absolutely not. However, if the integrators are assembling the equipment somewhere outside of North America and shipping the equipment to North America, absolutely will apply. If you have integrators in India, for example, and they're shipping the product on a pallets to US, absolutely. If you have them anywhere in the world, yes. We have interest from companies to include their overseas operations into this because this program is definitely not limited to North America.
Okay, so second question, you mentioned on a rack, you get a label on there. So
Mm-hmm.
what if more than one person works on that rack? Somebody installs the server, somebody installs the PLC, whatever the controls are.
Good. Excellent question. The idea is that not every individual employed by a contracting company will be certified, or I should say qualified. Mostly supervisory, so somebody who approves everything that was done to that. So if two individuals are touching, one will put in, and that carries his name. So he verifies that everything in that product meets the requirement of the manufacturers and the regulatory requirements for installation. So yes, they can have multiple people putting them together. We assume that somebody will go on vacation, but the label can only be applied by the individual who owns the certification. It should never be allowed for another employee to put a label on because it's that individual's name on it. Yes, sir? Oh, I apologize. Go ahead.
I'm not certain if you've defined contracting company that you said the program is built around. So what roles does that company incorporate?
Sure. The contracting company is any company that either asset owners or manufacturing company has hired to assemble that equipment.
So manufacturing companies don't assign someone else to assemble the equipment.
There's some manufacturers, they have their own integrators, and they hire a third party to do the integration as well.
So what does integration define as then? If there's an equipment manufacturer who puts an array of equipment inside of some assembly, what is an integrator?
Integrators, so when equipment comes in, obviously comes separately packaged. The rack and everything else is in separate boxes. Whoever's putting that assembly of the rack together is an integrator.
So you're defining an integrated assembly as a rack,
Yes.
not a data center.
Not data center, no. Not data center complete, no. Because data center is a very large facility.
Maybe.
Well, it could be, yeah, you're right. It could be small, yes. But no, this is only for pretty much the equipment that's being sub-assembled and shipped to the final destination
As a rack.
as a rack.
Okay. Not as a micro data center.
Not as a micro data center yet, no.
Okay.
No, not as a micro data center. Micro data centers will have a separate certification, most likely under UL 2755 for modular data centers.
And
If they're as shipped as a unit.
okay, that's a common practice. So is that program underway or
Yes,
planned?
yes, the program is underway. The UL 2755 was published, Michael, correct me if I said 2016, 2011. So 10 years ago, 2755 was published.
Okay. And then the number of that? 20?
2755.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So just to mention, UL has a few standards that touch data centers. One is the standard for modular data centers, UL 2755. The other one is UL 3223 for data center facilities. So now that we have UL 3223 for data center facilities, we have UL 62368 for equipment that is installed in a data centers with UL 2416 and other standards. We also now have a qualification for the actual people installing it. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned rack.
I'm sorry?
You mentioned rack several times.
Yeah.
Do you mean a server rack or storage rack, or do you mean some rack that's part of the facility itself?
Any rack that enters the facility that has equipment in it. It could be any rack. We are not specifying if it's a storage rack or is a processing equipment rack or is a battery storage equipment rack. Any rack that's pre-assembled entering a data center facility.
At the very beginning of your talk, you talked about Schneider and Eaton. You gave those two names specifically. Those typically aren't the people that assemble server racks.
Actually, I'm sorry, that is not necessarily true. Schneider does employ an integrating it has its own integrators that actually take Schneider equipment from various divisions of Schneider, put them together in a sub-assembly, and ship them to a final destination.
Can you give a specific example of equipment? Are you talking like electrical equipment in that case?
Electrical equipment, yes. That would be, let's say Schneider rack with Schneider rack PDUs, with Schneider automated transfer switch, with Schneider UPSs, and it could be customers, servers in it, whatever they decide to go with, NEC, Dell, or whoever they decide vendor to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So would this only cover the physical build of the rack, or would the certification also cover any sort of logical configuration?
Just a physical build.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you. I hope this is not the last time we see each other. Thank you.